Well, it's Classic Rock 103.9, the Fox. Yeah, that is a hell of a way to end the Mac Meltdown. Vintage Led Zeppelin. Party not over, though. Fox Lounge ready to kick open. Our friends from Michigan Public Safety Training Center in-house tonight, man. We're going to learn a lot. Tony and Brad are here. Personal defense, situational awareness, threat assessments, personal and home protection, concealed carrying, home defense. I mean, you name it. These cats are the experts on it. 810-230-9777. Tonight sounds like a great night to keep the phone lines open in case you have questions for Tony or for Brad, all right? We'll let them get in here and get settled first before the phones start flying. And if all goes good, I think we're going to be on Facebook Live. At least I hope we are. On Flint's Classic Rock 103.9, The Fox.
The Foxhole Morning Show.
It's Classic Rock 103.9, The Fox, The Crew, and Kickstart My Heart. We're about to kickstart the Fox Lounge this evening, and I'm excited, man. We got a couple of gentlemen in here who run a wonderful business called Michigan Public Safety Training Center. Tony and Brad in-house tonight. What's happening, fellas?
How you doing, Mac?
Doing great.
Feeling good.
Great to have both of you in here tonight. Fellas, explain a little bit, and if you want to share your stories or swap, one of the things that I think is important before we start to get into the skills training for basic and advanced people, for personal defense, for situational awareness, a lot of the things that you guys are going to talk about tonight. Let's let the audience know a little bit about you guys and your law enforcement background, so they're going, wow, we got the real deal in here.
So my name's Tony. I've been a police officer for 18 years now. About 2 years ago, I founded the Michigan Public Safety Training Center, and Brad Feaster to my left, he's a co-owner in it with me now. I brought him on last year. We found, especially during the pandemic, that people were scared. They were terrified to be in their homes, and I wanted to do something to help them.
Yeah.
So now we have this company. We offer CPL classes, threat assessments, safety plans, a whole array of stuff.
All right. How about you, man?
Well, I've been in law enforcement for 10 years myself. I'm a certified firearms instructor from the MCOLs. I'm also a certified USCCA instructor, along with Tony. And I've been the lead instructor for the police department for probably going on 5 years now.
Wow, okay.
And Tony recently actually took over the lead spot of that from me, as I kind of moved into another role on that.
And both of you gentlemen are active police officers as we speak, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
You didn't leave your duty to start this company. It's a combination of both going together.
That's correct.
Wow, amazing stuff, man. I agree with what you said. There are some scared people that have no idea how to react if they're put in a situation of danger. I suppose the tendency of human beings is to not fight, but flight, take off, run, try to get away if you can. And that doesn't always turn out to be maybe the best solution. So talk a little bit about, and if you just want to start with, even personal defense, how people, and I would imagine it would be of almost any age, male or female, that can find some kind of a proactive education within being taught this.
Sure. Well, of course, you have to be 21 in order to get a CPL.
Okay.
However,
explain what a CPL is.
So that's a concealed pistol license, of
Okay.
course. And what that means is that would give you permission to carry a pistol concealed, obviously. And there are some certain protected areas where you can't carry, but for the most part, you can carry in your car. And, especially if you're a real estate agent or you work in some other job where you're alone, maybe you have to go to a place that it's not so comfortable, you can carry that firearm concealed and nobody even knows you have it.
When you say a concealed weapon that you can carry in your car, can you have it in a holster on your hip? Do you have to lock it in your glove box while you're transporting? Does it need to be in your trunk? Does it need to be in the back seat? I've heard conflicting things. We all hear stories that, man, this guy got pulled over or this woman got pulled over and she she had a gun in the car, but she claimed she had a permit and blah, 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 blah. Can you define a little bit what that means when you're actually traveling in your vehicle?
Right, you got to understand that Michigan's an open carry state, right? So the CPL comes in if you're open carrying, and let's say you put a jacket on, now you have concealed your firearm. That's when you need a CPL. If you're open carrying and you sit inside your car, that car is actually concealing your firearm, so you need a CPL.
Okay.
Not saying you can drive with a weapon in the vehicle without a CPL. However, you have to do it appropriately. You have to take the ammunition out of it. You have to put it in the lockbox. The ammunition can't be with that firearm in that lockbox.
Okay. So a CPL, does that also allot you to be able to walk in? I know a lot of places now will have signage that says, no weapons allowed, or they'll have a gun with a slash going through it. Can you go to places where that is not posted, let's say a park, or let's say you're out walking your dog down the street, whatever the case may be, can you have your piece on you at that time if you have that permit?
Sure. So it, even walking into certain buildings that have that slash there, the gun, the picture of the gun with the slash, it's a bit of a controversial statement, but at the same time, if you have a CPL, you can carry in those locations, providing state law doesn't prevent that. However, if you do carry in those locations and you're caught, you could be asked to leave. There would be no law stating that you can't carry there.
So if you've always been somebody who may or may not be a gun owner, but wants to go into a program to get their carry license, or someone who may be a gun owner and does not have one, how do we go about this as the public to get to you guys so you can train us properly?
You don't need any experience. You don't even have to be comfortable with a firearm because we're going to do that for you. You don't even have to own a firearm, because we will have firearms available to you to use and to try out. You're going to get with us. We're going to run you through an 8-hour class. That's your CPO class. Now, 8 hours may or may not be enough time to get you comfortable with a firearm. We offer other classes, advanced firearms training, or even if you take our CPO class and you call us in a month and say, hey, I went through your class, I'm not that comfortable with my firearm yet, we're going to take you out to the range.
What type of client, let me ask you this, what does your client have to prove? Because we hear when they're coming to sign, I'm sure they need some kind of an identification, but there's so much talk in the world today of background checks and people's mental deficiencies. How do you guys determine all that, and what would a potential client need to present to you to show that they're stable enough to be able to handle the course, to handle a gun, to be able to shoot targets and whatever else goes on?
So to take our class, so what you're talking about is something at the county and state level to actually get your CPL.
Okay.
But when you come to our class, you don't need to prove anything except proficiency with that firearm, and that we believe that you can safely handle it. And that's what we're watching for during that 8-hour class.
So literally, if someone has never had a firearm, and you guys, you're not doing rifles or shotguns, right? You're strictly doing...
That's correct. Yeah.
You're strictly doing
pistols.
handguns.
Yes.
Are these revolvers, or are they automatics?
If you bring a revolver to our class for the CPL, you can certainly use a revolver. We offer rentals at class, and that is a semi-auto.
Okay, so you literally, if you have somebody that is interested, can come in, you'll actually show them, you'll physically hand them the gun, show them how to pack the clip, show them how to position themselves, where to put their hands, how to use the sight, everything in a safe environment.
So we actually have the way that our class is structured is we do our classroom instruction first, and then we actually do with yellow guns. So they're completely inert. They're a piece of plastic. They do nothing else.
Okay.
We spend some time in the classroom, actually learning hand placement, all the firearm safety rules, all that kind of good stuff. So we do a lot of hands-on before we even get to the range.
Okay.
And again, that's for those that have maybe never even fired a gun, those that are extremely maybe nervous, and even for those that have been police officers or have extensive backgrounds in firearms.
Right, want to sharpen their skills.
For sure.
Yeah, because shooting is not, and I love this man dearly in his movies, but shooting is not a Clint Eastwood movie. Shooting is not what you see on the cop shows on TV. There's ways that you position your body and ways that you hold your hands and ways that, because you're always going to get a kickback on a gun, right? I mean, no matter what, even a 22 will kick back a little bit on you. But this is part of what you invest into your clients: how to stand, how to position, where to look.
Right, and we take it further than that. Most people will give you the CPO class and they'll teach you that stuff. We go the next step further, and we teach you how to avoid having to use your firearm. So we're going to teach you about situational awareness, how to avoid conflict in public, because we want you to be able to protect yourself, but we don't want you to have to be put in that position.
After someone goes through your program, and I want to get real specific about some of these programs that you have as we continue with the program, but from the clients that you've had, when someone completes the course, let's say someone who's skilled, that's just sharpening what they already have, or someone who's brand new to handguns and goes through this course or this program, do you see a change in their personality as far as confidence?
So we've had a couple of clients that I've talked to after a month or two, and I would say that it's not night and day, but it's certainly there's an elevated confidence level and actually enthusiasm too, because they're like, I want to go back to the range. I want to, shooting is a perishable skill, and if you're not using it, you'll lose it.
Right.
And so they want to get better and be more proficient. But again, this course isn't just about shooting. It's about avoiding the shooting. That's the big part.
That's a real important statement. What to know in your situation, and the firearm is almost a secondary or low tier reaction to how you assess the situation before you're even thinking about your firearm. So you're teaching people how to be psychologically prepared for the situations that they're in.
Well, the biggest thing is that you have to remember is your family's and yourself's first responder. It's up to you to keep yourself and your family safe and alive. And the biggest thing for that is being situationally aware and knowing what's going on around you. That firearm is your last ditch effort in the event of something catastrophic.
Something
it's your
tragic.
Sure.
Okay.
And it's your last ditch effort to get yourself and your family to safety.
Gotcha. Tony and Brad in studio, Michigan Public Safety Training Center. We're talking to these two experts, these two professionals tonight. We want to talk about CPL. We want to talk about something that I didn't even consider, which I can't wait for these guys to share: real estate agent safety. You don't even think about stuff like that. Threat assessments, home protection. We got a lot to talk about. Fellas, do you have a phone number if people want to reach out?
If they go to our Facebook page, that's how we have people contact us and set up the classes. So Michigan Public Safety Training Center on the Facebook.
Okay, cool. And if you folks have any questions tonight, 810-230-9777. We'll kick the lines open for a little bit. Maybe these gentlemen can answer some questions for you. We're live on Facebook. We'll continue talking to Tony and Brad here in a moment as we take a quick time out on the Fox Lounge on Flint's Classic Rock 103.9 The Fox.
The Foxhole Morning Show with Chuck.
Flint's Classic Rock 103.9 The Fox. It's Warrant and Sweet Cherry Pie. Wow. Welcome to the Fox Lounge. I'm Mac. Thanks for being here. We have the Michigan Public Safety Training Center folks in here tonight. Tony and Brad joining me, police officers that have taken their knowledge, their skill, and their experience and have moved it on to the ability to train you from basic and advanced skills to personal defense to situational awareness, assessment threats, CPL, concealed carry, home defense. One of the things that I found, guys, that I didn't even think about are the people that maybe in the sales world, let's say, I don't know, salespeople, real estate people who sometimes set appointments after dark and have to go, especially a real estate agent who would have to maybe show a home at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night and go to this house and be fumbling around to try to get it unlocked. And, if somebody poses a threat to you, what do? I never thought about it. You can help with that.
We actually offer a real estate agent safety seminar to answer those questions.
Yeah.
So I'm a licensed realtor as well. Brad is a licensed home inspector.
Right.
And my mom in her early 70s is still slinging real estate.
Yeah.
So we and you have to show houses to whenever your clients are available. So
Right,
you might be out
exactly.
at 9 o'clock at night in a neighborhood you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Checking on a vacant house. So you want to have the tools to keep you and your client safe, but certainly you. So
And-
we go.
And the best part of that is we actually, since we're both in the real estate business,
Yeah.
we've both been in those situations.
Right.
I mean, I'm a home inspector. I've been in those situations myself. He's a real estate agent. He's been there himself. We don't just talk about it. We've lived it.
Well, I will tell you this: as a former postman for the United States Postal Service, you cannot carry a weapon. And I've been in those dark situations and had things happen and had to react on instinct, and it's scary. And believe me, to have the proper training would be a massive benefit. What if there's an animal involved in something like that, and you have a concealed carry permit? You have, you're going to your showing, and there happens to be a dog or something that approaches you and threatens you. Can you defend yourself in terms of an animal?
Absolutely, you can, and that's where we talk about situational awareness, and it's just not with people. You have to be aware of your surroundings. So you have to, before you get out of your car, you have to assess, what you're gonna walk into, what environment.
Right.
And an animal can come around a house and you don't see it beforehand.
Very
but,
true.
You have to have those exit strategies. You have to have a plan for everything you're doing. You have to
Exactly.
be in a heightened state of awareness, especially when you're carrying a firearm, because you have an extra obligation to keep everything safe because you are armed. And the old adage is, you're the one that brings the gun to a gunfight because you have one on you, right?
Right. Sure. Yeah. What is the course for real estate safety? How long is that? Is that another 8-hour course?
No, that's going to be a 4-hour course, and it's a great course for say a brokerage or a real estate team that want to do some team building exercise or maybe some in-service training. Get the whole team together and book with us, and about 4 hours, and we'll tell you about the situational awareness and exit strategies and not just how to avoid conflict in general.
And you gentlemen will go to the business, correct, to teach? Or
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So if you have a group of 10, 12, 15 real estate agents and somebody who's in charge, you can go and put your seminar on at their business.
Yep, and when we do that, it's surprising how the amount of agents who book a CPL class with us after that.
I would imagine so. I mean, this is really important stuff. We live in a crazy world. Of course, I don't have to tell you guys that. You're out driving in it every day and protecting us from nefarious things that go on in our society in this day and age. But that, as a real estate agent, that would almost seem like a no-brainer for me if I was going into these dark neighborhoods as we talked, and I had to put myself where because your brain is never concentrating on your surrounding. You're concentrating on, I got to get the door open, and Mr. and Mrs. Jones are going to get here at 7:30, and I want to make sure that there's a light on for them, and that the house. And while you're doing all that, anybody could be on your back in a heartbeat.
Yep, that's true, and a lot of times you don't even know your clients that you're meeting because you're meeting them for the first time.
Right.
And there's news article after news article on real estate agents who have been abducted, kidnapped, raped, assaulted, robbed.
It's no lie. It's no lie. It's the world we live in, and why not benefit yourself to be able to have the best defense you can to protect yourself and your family, because at some point, even when work's done, you got to go home and be with the people you love, man, and they want you to come home. I can promise you that. Let's do a tune from Pink Floyd. We'll come back with more as we continue on the Fox Lounge. Michigan Public Safety Training Center. This is so cool. Tony and Brad in the house tonight. If you need to reach out and get more information, email trainingcenter, one word, .mps@gmail.com or Michigan Public Safety Training Center, all one word, .com on the webpage. Pink Floyd now. Flint's Classic Rock 103.9. The Fox with the Fox Lounge continuing. Well, it's Classic Rock 103.9, The Fox. Floyd, wish you were here. I am glad you are here for the Fox Lounge with Tony and Brad, the owners of Michigan Public Safety Training Center. Guys, let's talk home protection. There's so many different stories that civilians or the general public will tell you that, you know, if somebody comes into my house and, you know, there's a problem, I can shoot them, I won't get in trouble. I have a carry conceal permit. You know, if somebody breaks in, I'm going to take them out. You know, and I'm saying that rawly. That's, you know, but is that true or isn't that true? Or is it dependent on state laws?
So obviously, you know, it boils down to, are you legally allowed to own a firearm?
Okay.
That's rule number one is, you know, if you're legally allowed to own a firearm. Second rule is in your own home, you don't need to have the CPL. You don't need to have the concealed pistol license. Okay. Then it boils down to, okay, somebody breaks in. What do you have when they break in? A lot of people, when you're at home, you go into that, I'm home, nobody's coming in. You kind of go into your own little cocoon. We call this condition white, where you're oblivious to everything else. You're watching TV, you're sleeping, you're doing whatever. When really you need to still be somewhat aware of what's going on.
So let me ask you this. As part of your training for home protection, do you prepare somebody who may be in a deep sleep or somebody who has that sort of, hey, I'm in my house now, nothing's going to happen to me? And I guess the question I'm asking is, during the training or as part of the training, do you heighten the awareness factor for your client instead of how I think, like, you know, well, I got a gun in the house. Somebody breaks in here. I'm going to hear it, and I'm going to get up and be, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and, hey, you know, I doubt that happens. There has to be some mental preparation that you help train the people for in terms of expectation.
Oh, certainly. We're big advocates on repetitive training. So, you know, once a month, get your family together and go over those scenarios. Hey, if we're all sleeping and we hear a noise, which room are we going to go to? Who's going to grab the firearm that's safely, you know, stored in your house? Who's going to grab the phone? You know, where's our exits if we have to get out of the house? So these, you have to go through every scenario, just like you would a fire drill. You know, you'd go over that once a month with your family. What if there's an intruder in there?
Yeah, I never thought about that. You said something just a second ago about having to have your gun in a box or in something. Are you allowed, if you have a gun in your home, to have it someplace where you don't have to go and get the 4-digit deal? Or is it by law? Can you say, hey, I'm not going to have the gun loaded, but I'm going to keep it under my bed, or whatever the case may be?
You can have a pistol under your pillow, but how safe is that? Because our big thing is firearm safety. Now, especially if you have little ones at the house, you don't want the little ones getting a hold of your firearm.
And too much tragedy.
You know,
that.
And maybe some people will come home and, you know, put their firearm in a drawer. Well, can your kid get to that drawer?
Right.
You know, so we're big proponents of you know, locking it in a safe, but being able to access that safe. And again, that comes with repetition.
Okay.
If you wake up in the middle of the night, you know, can you get to that firearm, and how quickly can you get to it? And you know, and where your firearm is there a flashlight? Is there a phone, so you can grab all this stuff right and then go handle your business?
Okay, and that's part of what the buildup is as far as education that you guys are doing in the home protection part of what you're teaching your clients.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have thought about that, man. I really wouldn't. Man, you guys are bringing up some really strong points tonight about, and what I'm taking out of the last couple of breaks that we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the number one thing is safety.
100%.
It's not necessarily about being a BA and having a gun and knowing that, you know, it's really about knowing your surroundings and using safety as part of what's happening in that moment.
You know, when the CPL laws were passed some years ago, the big controversy was we didn't want this to be like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's carrying a gun, and it's you know, they're doing duels out in the street, and that obviously hasn't happened. And the biggest stories that we don't hear about are the times that the gun has saved lives.
Right.
You know, you don't hear those stories. You only hear the tragedies, which
Right.
that's unfortunate.
That's
but
a whole different political discussion that I don't want to have tonight.
I don't really want to get into that.
Yeah,
That's
I
too
hear
heavy.
ya.
But at the same time, it is something to think about because, if, again, saying that you are your family's first responder, you're responsible for their safety. You're responsible for your own safety.
Yeah.
And somebody breaks in the middle of the night, who's coming?
Right. And it's a shame that, not to get on a political rant, but it's a shame that we don't have more of a dialogue between people that maybe don't understand guns, that could learn a little bit more, and people that really understand guns and know the safety, but are scared that their unalienable rights are being taken away. There just doesn't seem to be anything kind of in the middle where there's a discussion where we can all find a happy medium. But y'all, we're not here to talk about the politics of this. We're going to take a time out, come back, do Eddie Money, and wrap up with the fellas, Tony and Brad, at the Michigan Public Safety Training Center. Man, they got some good things going on here. What do I do with my card? Oh, there it is. Guys, if you're looking for more information, trainingcenter.mps@gmail.com. All right? If you want to check out their website, it's Michigan Public Safety Training Center. That's all one word, .com. More of the Fox Lounge continuing on Flint's Classic Rock 103.9 The Fox.
Before your commute, get the latest.com.
Flint's Classic Rock 103.9 The Fox, ready to close up the Fox Lounge tonight. Tony and Brad here for just a couple of more minutes. The Michigan Public Safety Training Center. That's what they do. That's what they own. They are police officers, active and on patrol, but this is just another opportunity for them to give back to you guys. If you're interested in learning about personal defense, situation awareness, basic training, getting your concealed weapon carry, personal home protection. We talked about real estate agents. One of the things that comes to mind, and we'll wrap up with this, and I'll give you guys a chance to run on this. There are a lot of really sad and dangerous situations that are happening at, let's say, churches and things like that. Do you offer maybe somebody who's in the clergy an opportunity to come out and kind of learn about some of the things that you're teaching?
Yeah, so one of our new programs that we offer is the threat assessment and safety action plan for churches and houses of worship. So we will actually come to your church. We will sit through a service and kind of assess what threats that could happen there, and then we'll get with your board or a safety team if you have one, and kind of talk about that. If you don't have a safety team, we will help you create one and kind of train them up, because like you say, unfortunately in this day and age, they're targets.
Yeah, and for almost no reason, and that's kind of scary. And again, the psychological aspect of, if you are a clergyman or if you are part of a congregation and you do see these stories, the psychological aspect of going, do I want to go to church on Sunday or Saturday night or during the week? And what if something happens here? What will we do? And I would imagine you guys would, in your training, would do, here's the best way to escape. Here's the best area to get out safely. Here's where you go once you get outside the building, things like that.
Right. You got to know your area in the surroundings, and know what's going to work best for that place, whether it be a church or even a business. Yeah. What services that are in the area that's going to come to you, and where you're going to go if you have to exit the building, if you have to shelter in place. You have to, and again, just like the home defense, you have to practice these scenarios.
Yeah, man, you keep saying that word, and as you continue to say it over the hour, it makes so much sense. It's like any other skill. If you're not constantly working on it, you don't get the size of Arnold Schwarzenegger in one workout. You know what I mean? You got to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. So I hope you guys keep doing it. This is cool. This has been very informative. Anything you want to add to this?
Well, we're going to have a class here March 18th. We're going to be doing it at the VFW in Fowlerville. And we like to do our classes at a VFW or American Legion somewhere.
Okay.
Both Tony and I are veterans of the United States Marine Corps, so that kind of adds to our...
You guys are all over. You're just all out badass.
We've done quite a bit.
Marines, cops, trainers, experts in self-defense. Holy cow, man. I'm standing in the presence of some power in here tonight.
We're going to see you in our next class then, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Time to get that concealed carry weapon.
That's right.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. Tony and Brad in-house tonight. Guys, first of all, when you're out in your cars taking care of the community, please be safe out there. Try to give the cops a break, everybody. I know it's easy to kind of throw police under the table in this day and age, but these guys are doing a lot more than you think to keep all of us safe. And please check out Michigan Public Safety Training Center. Okay, remember that name, trainingcenter.mps@gmail.com, Michigan Public Safety Training Center, all one big word together on your computer. Hit the .com, and you can get signed up and learn so many different aspects of personal safety and be trained by professionals. Fellas, great stuff.
Thanks for having us, Mac.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Mac.
guys. Appreciate y'all very much. That's it, guys. I'm back in here tomorrow for the Mac Meltdown at 3 o'clock. Y'all certainly keep it between the ditches. Have a wonderful evening. Let's shake out of here with Eddie Money, 103.9 The Fox.